we take a surface problem, something that they know of. We tell, we could create content marketing around this where you could speak directly to the surface problem, but inside the content, you teach them about the hidden problem. And guess what happens?
Problem, yeah.
Yeah. They're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Welcome to Marketing with Vino, the edutainment business growth podcast, mixing education and entertainment to make growing your service business much more fun. Your hosts, Quinton Venter, online marketing expert, and Gabby Kowalski, creator of the Business Freedom Formula, have a glass of wine and share powerful and up-to-date strategies to help grow your service business fast.
Hey guys, welcome to another amazing episode, Marketing with Vino. Quinton here, and joining us is the ever amazing Gabs. Welcome, Gabs.
Hey, awesome people. Hey, sensational Quinton. Absolutely fantastic to be hanging out with you guys today, and we've got some really hot stuff to talk to you about. It's been coming up a lot with my new clients recently, and I thought if it's super cool for them, it's going to be super cool for you. And I know Quinton goes quite deep on the topic that we're about to discuss. Quite frankly, what is it? It's how to get you more money, how to take you to the next level, how to get you earning the most you can in your industry while working with people that you absolutely love and having the money and the fulfillment from business.
Quite frankly, that's what a business is about, right? It's about improving that bottom line to a point where it's satisfying to you and for your financial achievements and your lifestyle, and with that also the difference that you make. Unless you're running a non-for-profit, then a completely different ballgame. But we are talking here about getting the most ROI out of your business with where your marketing dollars go in for the most of it to come out. So yes, drum roll.
And honestly, if you don't get this right, there's no point in marketing. You're wasting money. You're throwing money away if you're advertising without doing what we're about to share with you. I imagine I'm starting to build up the suspense here. So before we talk about that, what wine are you drinking?
Well, the most important part is I'm sipping on another Taylor's, Merlot, one of my favorites.
Oh, look at all those medals.
Look at those medals. I'll tell you what, this one has a double gold and it's got a platinum one. What has yours got, Gabs?
All right, well, I may be losing here. It's got two. It's got a top 100 and a blue gold, whatever that means. It has two shiny things on it. I'm still not going to be honest with you, I'm great at business. I'm great at sales. When it comes to wine, I go with what tastes good and what makes me feel warm and fuzzy. So
that's what it's all about. It is about enjoying great wine with great chats. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that indeed.
Chin chin. And in that note, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So what we want to chat to you guys about is the market. It's making sure that the market that you're marketing to is the right market. So there's a couple of things to know. One is if you believe that your market is everybody, that makes you a generalist. And generalists don't make as much money as specialists, meaning that specialists become awesome at fixing a certain kind of problem, and then people come to them to fix that certain kind of problem. The reason why that returns a greater on investment to them is one, their prices are higher, but two, the people that come to them have a problem that they're desperate to fix. It's not just if you look at GPs, for argument's sakes, it's not just I've got a cold, I'll just go to my doctor and get a doctor's certificate or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's someone with a specific problem. Like my toe is 8 times the size it should be. I need that stuff fixed. Yeah. I'm going to a foot specialist, because it means something to me to fix my toe because I don't feel very good. None of my shoes fit, and quite frankly, it's had a big negative effect on my ability to pick people up or whatever it is, right? So ultimately, it's one understanding that to go from generalist to specialist, you need to identify who is your market, what problem are you really good at solving. And what we call this in marketing is an avatar. It's a hologram. You create an avatar, a hologram of your ideal client. And basically all this is understanding that when it comes to marketing, if you have all your marketing speaking to one person, that doesn't mean you're not going to get other people. It just means that it actually connects. It's not you trying to speak to 10,000 people at once, which would be pretty difficult. It's actually like you speaking to one person, one problem, And as a result, you're going to get those people, and you're also going to get people attracted to your message that are 95% your avatar, 85% your avatar, meaning that, you know, it's not just restricted to that one particular person, it's that person, and give or take 20%. Well, it's not really give, but it's take 20% or so.
The way that we actually explain it to our clients is because we talk a lot about their budgeting and what they'll be spending on ads in a sense of to get the greatest ROI. So we explain to them in a metaphor, imagine your budget being a bucket of water, right? And imagine Facebook being 1.6 billion people in front of you, right? They are just scattered in front of you. You stand there with your bucket, with your budget. Now, what you want to do is you want to wet these people, but you only want to wet them because by wetting them, it's reaching them and making an impact, right? Now, if you take that bucket of water and you're throwing it out there, chances are no one's going to get absolutely soaked. Like only a few people might actually feel something. But to make the most impact, we want to be able to throw that bucket onto one or two people and absolutely soak them so that they can feel the impact and therefore actually resonate with that as well. Now, what will happen is other people around there will see actually what is going on with that person in their transformation, whether it's their business, their health, their wealth, their relationships, the results that you are getting them. And then obviously Jane is going to start talking to Bob, or Bob is going to start talking to Tom, and Peter is going to overhear them and he's going to be like, I want to get a little bit in on that. And that's where you're going to start attracting the other people that are associated with your avatar. But your main focus is what are you actually spending your money on? And that's what today is all about. Who are you spending your money on? Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, who's the right person to be throwing the bucket of water at? Because you know what, in the crowd, if your bucket of water is your message, you know, not every single person out there is actually going to resonate with it. So, to use your beautiful, funny metaphor, some people out there don't want to get wet.
They don't.
But some people are thirsty. They're on fire and they're needing to get wet. Yeah. And this is the thing that we want to find: a hungry market, on fire market that wants you to throw your bucket of water onto them. But you need to first identify who that is.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at, okay, so who's going to be my marketplace? Who's going to be my avatar? You know, you've got to understand that this person, you know, has to have a problem that's big enough for them to want to solve it. So we don't find obscure, weird markets. So I see this, you know, happening sometimes where people will go, oh, I'm going to create like this weird avatar that no one's going after. There's a reason that they're not going after them.
Yeah. So someone came up with a bright idea like, I've hit the jackpot. Like, why is no one targeting this? I'm going to target this person.
Yeah. I can tell you that, you know, usually if you're in small business, you know, there's a bigger fish that's tested the marketplace before you got here. So if ever you're in that position where, like, listening to this, if you're either in the place that you're a generalist and you haven't specifically got an avatar yet, or you're a specialist, you do have an avatar, I want you to listen to this from the perspective of creation or fine-tuning. So if you're new, create. If you've already got one, I want you to listen for the distinctions of fine-tuning your avatar in this podcast so you can take it to the next level. Because not all avatars are the right avatar.
Yeah.
You know? So one thing you want to do is you want to find someone who's hungry for the problem to be solved. They're not someone that you think needs the problem solved. They're someone who thinks they need the problem solved.
Yeah.
Yeah? Would you agree with that?
I totally agree with that. So for the one listening that is just getting started and trying to find the market, do you mind if I just quickly share a powerful strategy just to explain to him or her exactly what they need to do to find that? So Google is an amazing platform where people will go and search for a solution to their problem, right? Now, let's just say that you are a physio and you are currently working with, and you're thinking about working with people who suffer only with shoulder pains, shoulder joint injuries. Now, simply what you need to do is go to Google and type in shoulder pain and shoulder pain physio. Now, start noticing if there's any ads being run currently, if there's any AdWords up. Now, what that is an indicator. If you were to notice that there is ads coming up, then probably someone's already spending money in that field. Therefore, they are probably already testing it. And if there's multiple people spending money in that field, then it's probably a competition. That is healthy. That is something that you want to take note of. If you go and search for your problem that you want to solve and no one is running ads on Google, then that's probably the first flag. Then you're like, why isn't anyone running traffic to this yet? Or why isn't anyone advertising on this platform yet? So that's one of the first steps that we basically look at to see exactly if this is an opportunity to go further. So start with that first, and then we can always go into more strategies later in another episode. But that is the very first one to use as a criteria.
Love that. I remember a while ago there was someone I spoke to. It was actually an old client of mine, and I tried to veer her away from the niche she had chosen. So what she was doing was she said that she was going to niche, meaning like her avatar. Now, niching is basically just focusing your efforts into one particular area, yeah? Her avatar was a strong woman. And ultimately, it was all about strong, dominant woman. And and that was the avatar. Now, the problem with that is, okay, so what? Does that make sense? Like,
it's still so broad,
so broad. What's the real problem here? Is this strong woman? What's the problem of the strong woman? If you're like, it's all good and great to go, okay, she's strong, but that takes me to, that's not an avatar. An avatar is not strong woman or strong man or wimpy man or girly girl or
yeah.
The avatar is made up of two things. It's made up of a character and a problem. It's made up of, yes, he or she will have characteristics. They'll have values. They'll have a specific kind of character.
Yeah.
But two, they need to have a specific problem that they want solved. And you need to be the perfect person to solve that problem. And your marketing needs to speak to that problem and also speak about the promise. So you need to identify, what is the actual problem this person has? Can I fix it? Because if you can't, don't go there. And two, what's the promise? What is it that they're really wanting? It's the where are they at that sucks, and what is it that they really want and why? And that gives you the fuel for your marketing. However, strong woman, it's just a character. It's not actually identifying with the problem.
It's like, what is she frustrated about? Is she feeling weak? What is her desires? Does she want to become stronger? Like, you don't know.
Yeah, you're like, okay. If you Googled that, you probably get nothing.
Yeah.
It's important to get this too, because if you're listening to this and you've never heard of avatars before, cool. But if you're listening to this and you've heard of avatars before and you're kind of finding it a little bit funny to find your own, you could also be, like, unfortunately getting into the case of looking at character too much and not focusing on the fact that it's twofold. It's a character and it's specifically a problem she or he has. And so it's funny, I ran an event just the other week, and we were talking about avatar, and we were going quite deep into my peeps' avatars. And one of the people that was there was new to my program, and she goes to me, when I said, okay, who's your avatar? She was literally like going from generalist to specialist. So for her, the process was she was creating an avatar that she wants to work with.
Yeah.
However, what she said was, just to put it out there, she's got a stunning beauty clinic. So they do facials and treatments and all of that kind of stuff. Now, what she says to me is, okay, my avatar is 40 years of age. She used to look great when she was younger. She had, a few kids. She kind of neglected herself for a while, and now she's got damage. She needs the help.
Yeah.
She needs the help. The truth of the matter is,
does she want it?
Does she want it?
Yeah.
Is it a problem for her? You could look at somebody that you can help. However, are they actually looking for the help? Is it a problem to them?
Yeah.
Or are they have they made their peace with the fact that their skin's not, looking great, or they've put on weight, or insert whatever it is. And so upon that note, she then realized, oh shit, the right avatar is the person who actually authentically values the thing that you do. So for example, in the case of beauty, the perfect avatar for the beauty industry is someone who values beauty.
Of course.
Because
it makes sense.
Yeah, whatever we value, we're going to spend money and time on. So as human beings, if you want to know what you value just as a person, whatever you're spending your money and time on right now in your life will actually show you what you value.
Yeah.
So if you buy organic food, you actually do value health to a certain degree. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you're spending money on a lot of holidays, you value experiences. You value experiences, varieties, and adventure.
And if you spend money on education, then it's a sense of you valuing your knowledge.
Exactly.
And when you buy gifts, it's you value relationships and so on. It's whether you spend your current finances on is what you prioritize and what you overall value in your life right now. And things like that can change overnight. But who knows? It is you want to reach a person who's already made that transition where you can just simply tap into it because they're the easiest person to tap into rather than going through the whole process of educating them about their beauty and about what they're missing out on. And that's not something you want to spend your money on that's going to give you an immediate ROI. That's going to take a long, long time.
No. So Quinton and I were having a chat just before, and ultimately, our avatar is in business. Now, our true avatar is a true entrepreneurial business owner spirit. What does that mean? That you can either dabble in business, meaning, I want to start a business. You start a business, the first year sucks, you quit and go get a job.
Yeah.
Or you have to make it work. You'll spend years, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners will actually spend the first few years in business working odd jobs just to keep pumping money into the business.
That's what I did.
It's a normal process. It's a completely normal thing. Unless you're lucky enough to start early and live with your parents and not have to pay for anything.
Yeah.
But it's the same kind of thing,
but
really.
It's the spirit of the entrepreneur that we are working
that's
with.
Right.
That we are attracting.
Exactly. It's the soul, it's the absolute soul. And you want to be asking yourself, what is the soul and the essence of my message and who out there is actually a total fit for it? So if you're in the health industry, guess what? You don't go after trying to fix every unhealthy person on the planet. It's honorable and good on you. The truth of the matter is if they don't value health, it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
They may sign up with you, they may come and do it, but they don't come back. They're
not loyal.
They're not loyal, they're not raving fans, because it's not their authentic value. It's not something that's super important to them.
Yeah.
So when you look at it from that perspective, it's now don't get me wrong, because when you look at health, you could have someone who didn't value health, like Quinton said, shit can turn overnight. Someone who never really valued health gets cancer. Guess what they start to value?
They start to value health again. Yeah.
That's right. So this is where understanding, though, the avatar itself doesn't change, because now all of a sudden they've become your avatar because now they value health. They may not have valued health 5 years ago, and they weren't the right person for you to be working with 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But now they have a problem, and they're your avatar. Ultimately, though, they always will value the thing. So back to what I was saying, and as you're listening to this, if you've got the entrepreneurial spirit, the business owner soul, you'll relate. We're unemployable after a certain point. We can't go back. We would rather have a couple of bad years in business and keep going. The thought of, no, we can't. It's not what we're...
You know what? It's funny you say that. Em brought us up the other day, and especially in the beginning, she goes, what happens if this doesn't work? What are you going to do then? And I said to her, well, then worst case is I go get another part-time job and I start all over again and I start a new thing. And that is simply just where my head is at. I don't want to go into that point of working 9 to 5 or working full-time for someone else. I would quickly pick up another part-time job, whether it's a newspaper round or whatever it is, just to pay the basic bills. And I will become that person again that loves giving value, that can solve problems and work my way up. 1 second. Work my way up again to be able to charge for it and then start living that financial freedom lifestyle again that I was used to. It's just in my nature and the way that I've programmed myself to think in that way.
And that's the soul, guys.
Yeah.
That's the soul. So this is where, knowing that, then it's about going, okay, so obviously within both our avatars are business owners, but Quinton and I aren't just after any business owner, we're after the soul of the entrepreneur / business owner.
Yeah.
We're after someone who, does what it takes. They're not looking for a quick pill to get rich overnight. We're not talking about that person that goes, oh, it'd be great to, they look at business and they think, I want to, make millions overnight, but they're still working full time and looking for this quick fix.
Yeah.
We're talking about the person who's authentically in the game for the long haul. And for your industry, you want to think of who is the soul of the person. So I was chatting with another client of mine who, she's a physio and she actually works with runners and she specializes in helping runners. And also we're creating her programs. And at first she got a little bit confused thinking, well, is the avatar different? Because I've got beginners and I've got people that got injured and I've got people that are going in for competition. And I said to her, no, not at all. The avatar is the soul of the runner. It's the person that believes they were put on this planet to run. When they get running, they feel one with the world. But you've got the soul of the surfer. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That there's this, thing inside of you that regardless of the industry you're in, there are people out there that need, desire what you have to the point of ridiculous because it's in line with, their goals, what they're wanting to achieve and what they value.
Yeah.
And then once we've got the values, the soul of the character, it's actually about, looking at, okay, what are the fears? What are the frustrations? What are the problems here? So I was literally just chatting with my client a couple of hours ago and we're creating her avatar and we called her Zara. Zara. And so this is we went quite deep. So I want to give you an example of this so you get you get what you want to get out of this.
Yeah.
Also, just so you know, in episode 1, we actually spoke about avatars and we posted up an avatar interview inside the Marketing with Vino Club, which is a Facebook group. If you're not already in it, just go to marketingwithvino.com, click the join our group button. You can get in for free and you go to the files section in the group and you'll be able to access the interview that you can do with your ideal clients to get the answers that you need. Now, we'll probably remind you of that again at the end of the episode. Now, so
you can be sure of it.
Yeah, but what we did was we sort of went, okay, who is this person? And at the end of the day, Zara values beauty because, my client's in the beauty niche, right, in the beauty industry. So Zara values beauty. She just does. She's the kind of woman that has always and will always put effort into her physical appearance.
Yeah.
And whatever scale you want to look at. And so what you want to do is with your avatar, you want to find out their fears, frustrations, problems from a negative perspective. And then you also want to find out their wants, desires, and who they aspire to be from a positive perspective. So when we looked at the fears, Zara's fear is to be old and ugly. The thought of being old and ugly has her feel like a less of a person.
Yeah.
Because she values it so much. It literally cripples her. It has her lose her confidence, her ability to express herself, her courageousness, that Zara is her very best self when she feels good about her physical body. And when she doesn't feel good about her physical body, it's like her kryptonite. Yeah?
Yeah.
So you want to be asking yourself, what's the ultimate fear of my person? Then we looked at, frustrations. What are the frustrations she has? And when you look at frustrations, you want to have a look at what are the frustrations your avatar has in the area of your industry and in the area of the actual problem that they're in. So so this is really helpful because once you know this, you can market to this. So last episode we covered, or one of the previous episodes, we covered the 4 characters of marketing.
Yeah.
And so please listen to it if you haven't yet. In one of those characters, there's an us versus them character. So if you know what frustrations your avatar has with with your industry, you can actually use the us versus them character in that because they're frustrated with XYZ. So you come in and go, XYZ is bullshit. ABC is awesome. I'm here for you, buddy.
Yeah.
It's utilizing that. So we looked at Zara, and Zara's confused. She's got that much mixed messaging about what it takes, to actually keep herself looking beautiful. Some people say this, some people say that. Zara's also frustrated because it's friggin' expensive, if you go to the wrong channels to keep yourself beautiful.
Yeah.
Zara's frustrated because she's spent a lot of money in the past and gotten no results. Does that make sense? So you're looking at all these different things. Zara is also frustrated because she's been given way too much shit to do at home to look after her skin, and she's just not maintaining it. She's gone from using 1 to 2 products to having someone give her 20, which is just too much of a gap. And so she's frustrated with herself because she's not actually doing what she knows she should be doing. So when we have this data, we can create better packages, we can actually, serve our clients so much better, and we've got marketing juice to be able to have a message out there.
How much easier is it to have a conversation with someone when you already know what's going on in their head? Like, this is how you're setting yourself up in your marketing so that they feel that, hey, this person gets me. Like, this person speaks to me and me directly. And this is where it's very, very important to know who that person is. You want to know who Zara is better than you know your best friend. You want to know exactly what is emotionally ticking this person so that you know how to influence them. Again, the previous episode with the 6 laws of influence. You want to know exactly what you can say to them, how to say it, and what will drive them over the border. And that is how you're going to spend just all your time and energy into that one. Making your ad copy speak to one person, not to an overall public. It makes it so much easier.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely. So this is where, like, when you're going through the model itself, you've got their fear, their ultimate fear. You've got the frustrations in the problem itself and in the industry itself.
Yeah.
Then you actually go deep on all the problems that occur. So depending on your marketplace, they can vary. For me, it's problems in mindset, sales, marketing, profitability, meaning numbers. It's in staff. It's in technology, advertise. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what you're wanting to do is you want to go, boop, boop, boop. These are all the different problems that my person has. And so, we're looking at Zara. The problems, obviously, all the skin-related problems. I'm not going to bore you with them right now, but, it's like acne and pigmentation and yada, 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 yada.
Yeah.
The point is, though, what are all the problems that this person could possibly have? For some of you, it could just be that they have one problem. They have a back problem. But if you're looking at, different kind of specialities, like when I look at my client who's a physio and specializes with working with runners, there's a whole list of problems, that these people have.
Yeah.
And you actually want to go deep. You want to get to a point where you then start to look at, there's problems they know they have, and then you want to get that awesome at this, that there's problems they don't know they have, but you know they have because you're friggin' awesome at what you do.
Yeah.
That's the invisible problems that are causing them pain that are in their don't know basket. And when you know that those problems are there, I'm going a little bit advanced on you, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Go for it.
So what we do is, we take a surface problem, something that they know of. We tell, we could create content marketing around this where, you could speak directly to the surface problem, but inside the content, you teach them about the hidden problem. And guess what happens?
Problem, yeah.
Yeah. They're like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, it's like opening up Pandora's box for them.
Yep.
They're like, I'm aware of this, like this is annoying me, but what is it actually the cause of it, the root of it? And that's when you go deep. And once you go deep there, they are just hooked. They're like, and that's where you put your IP into place. That's where your IP comes into play, where you separate yourself from everyone else. And they're like, this person has the solution and it's a system and it's unique. No one else has it. I can only get it through this person. He knows more than what I know or that anyone else knows. And that's where you position yourself as a trusted advisor.
Exactly. And this goes with marketing and sales, guys, that, when you're in the sales process with your clients, when you know all of this stuff, you find yourself naturally handling objections before they even happen.
Yeah.
You have your clients feel so friggin' comfortable. You really do perform as a trusted advisor because you're not sitting there BSing. You're actually you're looking for, when you're chatting with them, you're asking great questions and you're giving them phenomenal insights into what's going on. You know, your ability to understand. I still remember a few years ago, one of my clients back then was like phenomenal personal trainer, fitness coach, and his understanding of the human body. He could look at you and know exactly what's friggin' wrong with you based on where your fat deposits sat. And I remember I went and did like this morning boot camp sunrise thing, which was lovely, but a bit too early for me, I'm not gonna lie. And at the end of it, like I'd been working, this was probably, I don't know, 4 years ago, I'd been working quite a fair bit, and I'd lost the ball with my fitness. I'm not going to lie to you. I'd kind of taken that energy that I used to use to go to the gym, and I'd put it into other areas, and I'd put on a little bit of weight and whatnot. So I'm there. Anyway, I'm there, and he goes, like literally we're having a chat, and he goes to me, I can actually tell that you have a leptin issue. So leptin is like this hormone that tells your brain when it's full, that you don't need to eat anymore, your body's got enough fuel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, how do you, like, you know, then he explains to me, you know, how the hormones work, but he does it so well that he didn't bore me at all. He's like, you know, when you eat, there's like this dude that normally tells this other dude, stop eating because we're good. Well, your dude is lazy. The second dude is deaf.
I love it when they break it down into such layman's terms where it's just people can actually understand this.
Yep, it was brilliant. So I'm like imagining these little people running around in my body doing things. And I'm like, I'm going to fire these people and replace them. Is what I'm thinking. But ultimately, he was like giving me this stuff, and he told me I had, oh goodness, what was it? A carbohydrate deficiency, meaning that my body wasn't processing carbohydrates. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, you've got a little bit of excess fat on your hips. And whenever you've got a little bit of excess fat on your hips, like you've got love handles, that, you know, love. When you've got love handles, it means your body's not processing sugars and carbs properly. And so I'm standing there, like do you get what I'm saying? Like he knows the problems. Like this is where you go, okay, surface problem, overweight. Underlying problem, you know, your genius, your speciality, your magic. Yeah. And if you can link your awesomeness to their surface problem, they're putty in your hands.
And you got to speak it in a language that they'll understand. No, not using your own jargons and everything.
That's
you got
right.
to speak about the
little dudes.
People. Yeah, the little dudes running around in your body.
I trust this makes sense. And ultimately, once we know the fear, frustration, problem, then we turn to the other side of the spectrum. What are the wants, desires, the aspiration? You know, what do these people want? What do they desire? Well, guess what? It's the opposite of what they fear. Their frustrations and their problems. And, you know, ultimately, who do they aspire to be? Because when it comes to choosing the right avatar, you want to be what your avatar aspires to be. You know, if they aspire to be awesome at marketing and knowing how to use social media and testing and measuring and optimizing, you know, if you suck at that, you're in the wrong marketplace. If you're in the fitness industry and your avatar aspires to have an 8-pack and you're fat and, you know, overweight and you're not looking after your own body, you know, you may have all the knowledge but you're not walking your talk, you're not in the right place.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for them to trust you in that sense as well, to really take your advice seriously as well. So it's very, you need to pick your avatar, and you need to pick your industry and actually be a match for that. As much as you want to work with that particular avatar, if you have that person, you also got to think about who do you need to be worthy of that person.
Massive.
Who do you need to be to maintain, to attract and maintain that relationship? And obviously from that, you're not the overweight person teaching you how to get an 8-pack. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You need to be that match.
And don't get me wrong, at the end of the day, like, you know, if you're not that chiseled 8-pack person, then you don't promise to get them chiseled 8-pack. You promise them fitness. You promise them health. You know, that, like, does that make sense?
Or if that's the case, that you have the knowledge, then you teach them the knowledge, then you promise them the knowledge, the information around it.
what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, there's different reasons why people would go and get a personal trainer. Some of them just want to be fit. They don't want a friggin' 8-pack. Maintaining an 8-pack's hard work. Some of them literally just want to be fit and healthy and have energy and vitality. You know, there's a very big difference between having an 8-pack and being fit. They're two different, one's, there's this whole I want to look good versus I want to live longer, and have more energy, be vibrant and fit.
It almost sounds like it's when the generalist becomes a specialist. The generalist is the fitness guy, and the specialist is the 8-pack that rocks the show.
Love it. Yeah, good point. So ultimately, when we're looking at Zara, if her fear is getting old and ugly, then what does she want? She wants to look young she wants to look young as long as possible. She wants to look her best for her age as long as possible. She wants to be the 60-year-old that gets mistaken for a 40-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ultimately it's pretty cut and dry. If her frustrations are, oh my God, there's so much information out there. There's all these different opinions. That I'm having to do a million friggin' things to maintain my skin. She desires a simple solution. She desires the absolute strategy that works and she can see works and gets the results. Yeah? Yeah. It's all like you're always looking at it's the opposite of, the opposite of what they're frustrated with. And who does she aspire to be? Well, Zara aspires to be the best version of herself.
Yeah.
It's just that. And with this particular client, her Zara is actually a bit of an overachiever. She desires to be the best version of herself, not just physically, but in her, into her mental plane, in her in the way she, interacts with others. And so this particular client has like JVs set up and, a collaboration with other people that work in other mediums, and has this client be able to go to coaches and kinesiologists, and she works on the whole inside and out of the person. Does this make sense, guys?
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Yeah? So for you, it's going, okay, to find out this information, you can either, one, you can sort of go, who have I loved working with? Who's been my favorite client that I've absolutely adored working with? And you can actually answer most of this stuff on a general basis. But to go deep, you want to do a little interview with these people, grab the interview I mentioned before. And two, you want to be constantly asking yourself, what does Zara want? You want to be intrigued and curious about your avatar ongoingly. To me, avatar work is not the kind of work we do once.
No.
Oh, and it's done. What's your take on that?
You got to constantly check in. You got to make sure that you're still on the right path as well, and that you can actually get them the right results for the person that they are. I mean, when it gets to a stage that you can no longer help them, you've got to be prepared to say, cool, maybe it's time for you to start working with someone else. And you've got to be cool with that as well. So you constantly got to check in with where you are, where your avatar is at, and where your actual clients are at as well. Because as you start developing yourself, as you're growing through the journey, it might be that you no longer want to work with the person that was prior to them starting to work with you. You now only want to be the next version of Zara. You only want to work with the next version. But that happens as you're developing yourself, and that's where you need to constantly check yourself in.
Yep. Exactly. And as you grow as a business, your avatar is actually going to change.
Yeah.
Meaning that, depending on where you are in business, then depending on what business you're in, what you'll find is in the first years of business, you do tend to work with a slightly different avatar than when you go forward. And that takes me to generalist moves to specialist.
Yeah.
But after a while, specialist moves to expert. And that's a whole different topic. But when you make the shift from specialist to expert, you know your shit. You're like one of the leaders in the industry in what you're talking about. People quote you.
Yeah.
The avatar changes because now you're actually dealing with a higher level of, avatar, just a slightly different piece of the pie. No right or wrong here. It's a different movement. So there can be a shift that occurs when you make these changes. Would you agree with that?
Totally
That's
agree.
what you were saying.
Yeah.
Yep. what's some cool marketing tips you could give when it comes to, because one thing I've noticed is that when we know the problem of, we actually know the problem of our market, and we know like what to promise them in order for them to go, yes, that's what I'm after. That's when marketing gets pretty fun and sexy. So if you're making a video blog, if you're doing a podcast, if you're writing a blog, you want to be asking yourself, what problem is this content solving, and is it a problem that my avatar is actually interested in?
Yeah. So the way that we do that is through measuring. Everything needs to be measured and needs to be tracked so that we know if we're making progress or not. If we can't track it, then we don't know if we're making progress. So let's just go to Zara, and Zara has five top frustrations, and now you're going to put it out on the medium of solving that frustrations, and that could be whatever it is that you feel comfortable with, whether it's a podcast, it's writing, it's videoing, whatever it is, but you are now solving that for Zara. Now the next stage regarding marketing is you now want to put that content out there, and as you're putting that content out there, you want to track to see exactly how many people express interest in A, B, C, D, or E or F, or how many you have. You want to go and see exactly how they compare and match up against each other. And if it appears that B is outperforming A and C by far, then it is obviously B is a winner out of those three. Now you could go ahead and do D and E as well. But if you're comfortable with B being the starting point as to the point of entry where everyone is paying attention to, then that is where you focus on, and that is the first message you put out from based on measurements, and then you start seeing how they resonate with the next one. So when it comes to marketing, you always want to know what is working, what is not working. And if it appears to be that even if you have A, B, C, and B is the winner, you want to now test how does B outperform different mediums. Maybe they no longer want to just read about it. Now you want to capture the other market who wants to listen to it, who wants to watch it. Now you can start seeing how you can reform that content, your IP around that, and really start connecting with other people on those senses as well. That is how we will generally start regarding marketing, just to get some basic information, and then we say, cool, full systems ahead. That's when we start building out funnels, which is for completely another episode, but that is when we start building them into our system, where we nurture and we capture leads and we nurture them to build a relationship to the point where they are now spending money with us. So that is the relationship that we are forming by giving exceptional amount of value.
Yep. And so, in layman's terms, it's literally going, okay, out of all this list of frustrations and problems that I have because I've done the market research, what's the hot sauce? What's the hot buttons? What's the stuff that's really grabbing attention? That when I speak about this stuff, people seem to love it. And you'll know, like you could do Facebook Live, you could post things up, and you'll know by the interaction, wow, people just really love this topic. You'll actually be able to track it that way. If you want to go hardcore, and you're not a genius when it comes to tracking marketing and looking at analytics and charts and graphs and statistics, then hire somebody else to do it for you. So, Quinton does all of this stuff for my business. Why? Because I don't want to look at it all. I want to create the content.
Well, the relationship is very easy, where it is Gabby now is comfortable by creating whatever content needs to be created based on what we recommend. So we will report back saying, Gabs, these are the things that is the hottest topics right now. Go and create an article, go and create a video series. And Gabby goes and creates it based on the recommendation. So she's constantly in a genius where she loves to help and she loves to create. Whereas we on the other side of things, where we love to put these things into practice and actually measure and see what is outperforming each other. So that's where the two geniuses match and they just form epicness.
And, ultimately, this is a topic for another podcast, but I think we've probably covered it in some extent. Message here is don't try and do everything yourself. There's, the purpose of having a business is building a team around you that supports you. You can't do everything inside your business. You will burn out. And yes, you need to understand the language of what you're looking for and what needs to happen. However, gosh, you don't need to be doing it all. Just because you know how to clean a toilet doesn't mean you need to do your own toilet cleaning in your building. Hire someone to come in and do that for you. You should be spending as much of your time as possible just doing the stuff that gives you the happy buzz, makes you feel epic. However, the stage one is put some stuff out there and see what the response is.
Yeah.
But be strategic, put this topic out there, that topic a few times and have a look. Okay, shit, this topic's really resonating with my market. Once you're ready to go to the next level, and I really recommend that you do if you want to expand and grow and whatnot, then you really do need to look at advertising, and that's when I do recommend you hire someone who knows that stuff back to front and takes care of that for you. Unless it's something that you're passionate in. If it's something that you love doing yourself, do it. If you don't love doing it yourself, outsource that stuff as soon as possible. Yeah?
100% agree.
Before we sign off for tonight, I do need to make one thing clear, that even though we're wanting to elicit our avatar's fear, we don't market to the fear directly. So we don't go, hey, if you're afraid of being old and ugly. And you know what? I'm saying this because most of you listening to this are going to think that's logical, but I've seen people do it. So it's actually for you to understand that is the fear, like to me, is the fear a $1 million problem? Is it if your avatar's fear is a big ass fear, then you've got a good avatar, because it means that they've got fire in their belly to do something about it. If the fear isn't there, if you're doing market research and have got no fear, you may be barking up the wrong tree here.
Yeah, if they just feel meh about it, then it's not good enough.
They're not hungry, so you haven't found a hungry crowd. So the fear is going to give you, is this a hungry crowd? The fear of Zara being old and ugly. By the way, we went deeper into this. So she'd be old, ugly, alone, no sex, and her husband would be cheating on her. Just so you know.
That is pretty tough, yeah.
It's freaking a tough cookie to eat, right?
Yeah.
And there was more to it, but this is where, I need you to get this. For me, my avatar, and ultimately a lot of your avatars won't even know their secret fear. Like, this is something that sometimes honestly takes a bit of digging to get to. Would you agree with that, Quinton?
Yeah. It's building over time as you get to know them.
Yeah, it's a subconscious thing. Like with my market, their greatest fear is ultimate failure, where they can't go anymore, and they failed in the eyes of their family, their friends, and in themselves. They don't have the ability to go further and continue down the road of business and entrepreneurship, which means their soul is dead.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
that's the worst case for that specific person, for their soul to be dead, for them to lose that spirit, that flame. That is worth suffering for, and that is worth making a difference for. Yeah.
If your soul dies, I'd say that's $1 million problem.
Yeah.
And so I needed to say that. Please do not go out there and market from the fear. The only way you can market from the fear is using the fear in a story. So, saying something like, I was talking to one of my clients, and when she first came to me, she'd struggled for years with a skin problem, and she'd tried this, she tried that. We did all this cool stuff, and now she feels beautiful and epic. She just feels so confident and fully self-expressed. And the other day she told me, she had tears in her eyes, and she told me, thank you so much. I was so afraid that I couldn't fix this, and I'd end up ugly and old way before my time, and you've changed my whole world.
Yeah.
So you can plant a seed of the fear into a story from another person, but never go direct with it.
Yeah, that's not cool.
No, it's just mean, isn't it, Quinton?
Yeah, it is, totally. On that note, guys, as you're listening to this right now, we've mentioned this earlier, go check out marketingwithvino.com. It is a place where you will find resources, where you get to hang out with us and another amazing community where we can answer the questions that you have around this topic. So go check out marketingwithvino.com, click on join the club, and one of our amazing legends will approve it, will welcome you, and we will welcome you as well. And we will kick off the ball with getting to know you better and the rest of the community. So check that out.
And then all you need to do is go into the files section, and in there you'll see Market Research Avatar. Grab yourself a copy of that. and go do the market research report with your peeps. Listen to episode 1 because we go into a bit more detail as to what you should do with that report. With that interview, just to prepare yourself a little bit. It's been friggin' phenomenal hanging out with you again.
It's been amazing. I think this episode really tied it in with the IP that we spoke about, the stories that we said to create, and how it all matches in when it plays out. I think it's been a very nice closure of that one chapter. Now we can really start going a little bit deeper, and I really look forward to it. Thank you so much, Gabs. It's been amazing.
Love you, Cube. Love you, peoples. And see you next time. See you next time.
Ciao, ciao.